And God, denyo. Oh, what that dang. This is the voice of the patriot. And my name Blakk Rasta. Now here we don't criticize, but if we must criticize, we would only just criticize to build and not to destroy. That is why we keep saying we are in the service of God and country. This is the voice of the people. Now here are so many ideas coming to play, and we sieve out these ideas and pick up the best ideas which we use in the resolution of conflicts and of course in the development of our country, our continent, our people, our land. This is the voice of the patriot. And from the news reel, we keep it always real. Now here we go. Now the very first story we are looking at today is coming from Ghana Web, and it says, bow your heads in shame and not dumpre chides NDC over Obuasi killings. And I read, the minority chief whip Frank Anodompre has criticized the ruling NDC government for the violent clash between illegal miners and military personnel at Obuasi. Now, according to the Nsawam Adwajiri lawmaker, the NDC government must bear the blame for the unfortunate incident, which has reportedly resulted in the deaths of 7 individuals and left several others injured. He faulted the ruling government, suggesting that it may have indirectly contributed to the tragic incident and resulted in the lives being lost. He specifically pointed to the party's comments and remarks made during the 2024 general elections, implying that these may have incited and motivated the illegal miners to engage in such actions. Now, in response to the presidency's statement directing investigations into the incident, the New Patriotic Party lawmaker urged the NDC to rather reflect on their actions. Rather bow your heads in shame. Your irresponsible election comments have brought us this lowest ebb. God should save this country. I am sick, he wrote on X on January 19, 2025. Another press comments come in response to President John Dramani Mahama's directive ordering investigations into the shooting incident. Now, the president has asked that investigations be conducted into the matter to bring the culprits to book. I see. My brother, my sister, I wished Anodompre went into a little bit more detail as to what exactly was said during the campaign to bring us to this low ebb. Unfortunately, it was so short, and Ghana Web did not do due diligence by getting in contact with this man to elaborate. This is so sketchy and so unprofessional. My brother, my sister, a man goes on X and writes that some people could have been the reason we have come this low. And I read, rather bow your heads in shame. Your irresponsible election comments have brought us this lowest ebb. God should save this country. I am sick. He didn't mention any name. He didn't say who exactly it was. But it's inferred here that he might be referring to the NDC's comments. A responsible journalist should be able to get in contact with this MP so that at least we would have some elaboration, some more detail that we can talk about. But that notwithstanding, to suffice the moment, let's look at this. Now, during the election, we all heard President Mahama tell everybody how important mining is to the Republic of Ghana. And he zeroed in on the work of small-scale miners. My brother, my sister, saying that their contribution alone to the GDP was hefty and could never be ignored like that. Asked about Galamsey, President Mahama, at the time as candidate Mahama, former president, told the whole Ghana and the world that he did not intend stopping small-scale mining, and that it will be done the right way, and at the same time, all mining on water bodies would stop immediately. That was what I heard him say. That is not my kind of idea. I do not want any small-scale mining to happen in Ghana at all. If I were the president, all mining activities will be done by the state like it's done in Rwanda. No private person would have the right to mine in any part of this country. No. Every mining concession will belong to the state. I am sick and tired of people who come into our country, and because it's not their country, they are nowhere near patriotism to our country. So what they do is they are only interested in what the country can give them and not what they can do to support this country. They mine just anyhow. My brother, my sister, all our mining concessions in this nation belong to foreigners, and we only have a small percentage. We have said this time and again, we sound like a broken record right now. As I sit here and I talk to you, my brother, I don't know whether we are truly independent or this is a Mickey Mouse independence. Our mining concessions, we used to be called the Gold Coast, remember? It means we have gold. We are sitting on gold, yet we don't own the gold. The old gold is owned by foreigners. They repatriate their profits anyhow out of this country, and we continue to languish in poverty. Who is that leader who will give us true independence? Who is that leader who would go straight, my brother, my sister, and be radical like what we are seeing in Burkina Faso, what we saw in the days of Sankara, and what Trump is doing in America? It's not time for populism. In other words, populist agenda. What you will say, the people would applaud. No, in order to bring development, you must make the people criticize and insult you, because you are going to take decisions that are going to be unpopular. My brother, my sister, they said they will not stop small-scale mining. They will allow it to thrive. Albeit, no mining would happen in water bodies. What is the condition of our water bodies now? What happened at Obuasi? This write-up did not say anything about what happened. He just went ahead to talk about, and Another Prayer wrote this, and they infer that is referring to the NDC and the party campaign and whatever. But nobody has gone into detail in this write-up to tell us what happened in Obuasi. My brother, my sister, almost every Ghanaian understands exactly what is happening in Obuasi right now. They say about 8 people have been shot and killed, even though people on the ground say about 15 have gone down the drain. Why? We are told that some people in the name of the ruling party decided to go to a mining concession right there inside Obuasi, claiming that their party is in power. Their government has taken over. And for that matter, they have had some utterances during the campaign that should their government take over, it will be their time and turn to also benefit from the mining concession. So they went to take over. There was a clash. Pump action guns were pulled out. The army, the police called in. There was a return fire. And some policemen and military people have been injured. About 8 people have been pronounced dead. My brother, my sister, are these the facts? The president has gone into this wholeheartedly, asking for an investigation. I've always said one thing, and I will say it. Let us be very responsible with our politics. To win elections, people say just anything. We have heard Nana Akufo-Addo tell us all the kind of things we wanted to hear. And when he became president, he became a caricature, the figment of his own imagination. He will go down as one of the worst presidents this nation has ever had, regretfully. My brother, my sister, today, statues are being torn down. Any statue that looks like him, it doesn't have to be him. But if it looks like him, it will be brought down. That is the chagrin the people have for his governance. If any other government wants to emulate this mediocrity, then woe be unto you, because you shall also taste the same fate. Can I repeat this? All forms of mining in this country must stop. The state must take control of all our mining. Whether small-scale mining or galamsey is bringing us 7 trillion or not, remember that the next generation would have to suffer for all the foolishness we are doing to our land. What does it profit a man to get the whole world and lose his soul? You dig almost everywhere. You kill flora and fauna. Medicinal plants go down the drain. Animals that should have been seen in the next 500 generations to come are being killed and they go extinct. Because in Ghana, we eat all types of bush animals. Why? Anything that lives in the bush, Ghanaians eat. Right from rodents all the way to lions and elephants, we eat everything that is in the bush. I just returned from Burkina Faso. And yesterday when I was driving through, I came across so many different animals killed by people selling them on the roads. From grass cutter all the way to animals whose names zoologists cannot even find. What is the problem with us? You've eaten the cow. You've not been satisfied. A huge animal like the cow, you are not satisfied. You have descended so low to even eat worms. Akokono. And if you thought that was so low, some people even eat the feces of animals, aka the excreta of animals. That sounds nasty, isn't it? Grass cutter, they eat the droppings of grass cutter and they call it a traditional food. How could you be so dunce? Do you know why this thing is called excreta? Anybody who eats excreta is not a human being. I got to Kumasi and they serve it with fufu in the chop bars. And this soup looks so brownish and so dirty. And I ask what it is. They tell me it's acranteus droppings. And I'm exasperated. I'm like, what is happening? Oh, hey, amamre. Hey, you eat feces as amamre. Are you crazy? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You've eaten the cow, you've eaten the elephant, you've eaten even bonsu in the water. You are not satisfied. It is the feces of animals that will give you nutrition. That is why we don't think properly, because there's a lot of feces in our heads. And I'm intentionally using the word feces so you'll see how nasty it is what we eat. We don't think properly in Ghana because we eat things that is supposed to be thrown away. What is wrong with you? All the vegetarian restaurants in Ghana are closing down because nobody is patronizing them. You want to go and eat acranteus feces with your fufu? Anything that lives in the bush, you eat as Ghanaians. What is wrong with you? No wild animal would like to be created and brought to Ghana in the next creation if God ever creates animals again. Because you eat everything that is in the bush. And the wildlife people, you are all crazy. All of you are crazy. Somebody finds a snake in his house. He calls the wildlife people, come and deal with it. And then you want the person, find a big stick and kill this reptile before it bites you. Are you crazy? Are you not supposed to protect these animals? On the streets, why are you not going around arresting these people who are selling this bush meat, so-called bush meat and all that? How did I get into this bushmeat and akrante and all that when I'm actually talking about I'm not done prayer and these things? My brother, my sister, Let's be responsible when we are looking for power. Let us think about our nation. Please. Now these 7 or 8 people who have gone down the line, they are gone. No amount of compensation will be able to take the pain from the hearts of their families. They are gone. Some of them have children. They will grow up and be fatherless. Some of them, my brother, my sister, would even die because they've lost loved ones. I am tired, so sick of our parties in power, so it's time for us to take over. No! This is not a jungle. It's not a jungle. President Mahama has issued warnings over and over. Again and again, he has told you that do not behave like those charlatans in power who, during their tenure, did the same things that you are doing. Right? If you're going to repeat the same things that they're doing, then what was the need to go for a fresh limb? My brother, my sister, let the investigations into these deaths be done. Let's find the culprits. And it's sad. It's the same stupid utterances, my brother, my sister, that brought about the war between the Kokombes and the Dagombes. During elections, we have politicians go and inflame passions in our people. And when power is won, they want you to deliver on your promise. And it brings problems sometimes. The same thing is happening in Boko amongst the Mampusis and the Kusasis. Same politicians went in there to make stupid utterances. We are tired of irresponsible politicians. I'll leave it here. I'm going to look at this very briefly, and this is coming from Peace FM Online. It says, President Mahama sets up Constitutional Review Committee, and I read, President Mahama has formed a Constitutional Review Committee to address unresolved governance challenges and reform the 1992 Constitution. Now, the committee chaired by Professor H. Kwesi Pipra will review past recommendations and propose reforms to enhance transparency and limit executive power. Watch this. I am very impressed with what Mahama is doing so far. Less than 2 weeks of taking power, or just a few days after taking power, he has already moved so gallantly, if you want a better word, geometrically, towards some of the election promises he made that were gargantuan. I remember Koku Anyiro saying that Mahama was in power and he did nothing about the Constitution review. And now you are campaigning and saying constitutional review, blah, 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 blah. You are just blowing hot air. And that Atamil started it, and when Mahama came in, he didn't do it. Well, we need to be reminded of some of these things time after time. Mahama has formed a committee to deal with our constitution, and listen to the interesting part, to limit executive power. Oh my God. You know what that means? To reduce the power of the presidency. Now the presidents in Africa are like demigods. In some countries, some presidents are even more respected than God. Better still, some presidents have more power in some African countries than God. And I'm speaking tongue in cheek. Watch this. President Mahama says the president has too much power. Please look into the Constitution and limit the powers of the president, aka the executive. What else could a man do? The same President Mahama, who knows how to spend money, he knows how sweet wealth is. He's telling you he is not interested in ex gratia. The same President Mahama says that he's going to abolish, at least in his tenure of office, the demonic ex gratia. My brother, my sister, I see some genuineness. I see some serious energy to do the work. Mr. President, it's early days yet. Do not relent on this energy. Some people started hot, then they start blowing cold. Either they get too complacent or they just are doing it for the cameras. Right after that, they recoil into their own shells. I beg you, Mr. President, Ghana has suffered enough. The executive has drowned and suffocated Ghana for too long. It's time to deal with this inordinate power. It's time to deal with this. I promise it was not going to be long. Let me leave it here. Next thing I want to look at is taken from my own Street News. Yes, the most authentic source of news online. In fact, one of them. NPP left behind 100 billion Ghana cedi road sector debt. And this is coming from Agboja. Agboja, who is being vetted right now. He's the MP for Adakulu. He is being vetted for the Roads and Highways Ministry. This is what he's saying in the breaking news. NPP left behind 100 billion Ghana cedi road sector debt. Agboja. And I read, watch this. As of today, Monday, January 20, the previous New Patriotic Party is leaving a minimum debt of 100 billion Ghana cedis commitment. Minister designate for roads and highways governs Kwame Agboja has said. He said that if he is approved, he would have discussions with the finance minister on how to deal with the road sector debt. He told the Appointments Committee of Parliament during his vetting on Monday, that's today, January 20, but the current debt in the sector amounts to 130 million Ghana cedis. However, the interest that accrued on this amount to 665.665 million cedis. This, he said, must stop. Hence his decision to have a discussion with the minister. Watch this, my brother. Please watch this. Nana Akufo-Addo instituted what was known as the Year of the Roads, right? And that they were building how many trillion kilometers of roads? Do you all remember? Yesterday I drove, in fact, last week, from Thursday night, I drove all the way from the capital, Ghana, to the heart of Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso. I went by road. And I can tell you that the so-called Year of Roads was nothing but a farce. Nana Akufo-Addo will roast in the hottest part of the lying hell, if there's any. My brother, I drove 24 hours in and 24 hours out of Ghana. I went all the way from Accra. My brother, when you get to Achimota, as I hear the correct pronunciation, Achimota, as I've been corrected by Niagbo Aye, the great grandson of the great Odoy Sykes. My brother, my sister, watch this. And when you are going all the way, right from Achimota, my God, they say some road construction is as dusty as hell. The road is like the way to Satan's capital, the hell. Ha! That small stretch of land can take you 2 hours to drive through. The dust is unimaginable. So many cars have broken down, all because of that route. I think it's of Fanko, thereabout. It's terrible. Imagine somebody is coming into the country, and then the signboard says, "Welcome to Accra. You are entering Accra by road." And this is what greets you into the country. You must be crazy. Are you okay? Should we wake up from this nightmare? A lot of cars have broken down on that road. Yet you tell me that you have instituted the Year of Roads. And your highways minister comes to tell us how much they have achieved on paper, yet on the road is not achievable. It's a shame. My brother, that is just Accra. And when you drive through, as for the potholes, oh Lord Jesus, have mercy. As for the potholes, it's so terrible. All the way. Driving through Kumasi, I went through Chichiwure. Do you know that town? All the way through the BA, I avoided Techiman. I drove through Chichiwure. How many of you know Chichiwure? All the way to Jema. Some of you are hearing these towns for the first time. Even when I asked the people of Chichiwure, because at a point I was confused. The map was telling me, yes, you are on your way. You would go all the way through to Kintampo and then to Tamale, and then you go to Bolga and then Paga, and then you enter Burkina Faso. My brother, I was confused. I asked the people of Chichiwure, Pacho, way na Tamale. Say, oh, Waira. Yeah, Waira. Oh, Kuse, Waira. Oh, Kuse. Mama no more. And they were bringing me water from the well. Chichiwure. The people of Chichiwure. How many of you know there's a village in Ghana called Chichiwure? How many of you are from Chichiwure? When was the last time you visited your village? Hi, and look at what happened. When I left Chichiwure, after I was told that, why you say, hey, and then my main Chichiwure. Because they were saying, Kuse. Cemeteries all over. Cemetery after cemetery after cemetery. Oh my God. Your guess is as good as mine. Bad health conditions. People are dying in their droves. Social amenities, almost zero. They are being buried. There are more cemeteries in Chichiwure than pipe-borne water. Hey! And I was driving in the night. This was somewhere around 12 midnight, I believe. And then 2 of my team members said they wanted to urinate. Could you please stop? And when I tried to stop, on my right was a cemetery. On the left was a cemetery. They started shouting, oh, go. Nobody wants to stop at the cemetery at 12 midnight. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. What happened to the year of roads? I drove all the way through Tamale. Went to Bolga. Some parts of the road good, yes. You must admit that. But my brother, a major part of that stretch is nothing good to write home about. Now look at the interesting thing. Now that I was entering Burkina Faso, welcome to Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. That road took me all the way into Ouagadougou, not even one pothole. Under a military government. From Pagaboda all the way into Burkina Faso, not even one pothole. I almost fell asleep. The road was so smooth, I forgot that I was driving. I thought I was in an aeroplane. I said from Pagaboda all the way to Ouagadougou, correct pronunciation, Ouagadougou, all the way, not even one pothole, under a military government. Yet in my country, that was touted as the country of roads by some charlatans in power, my brother, my sister, using the taxpayers' money for their charlatan business. My brother, my sister, who robbed us of good roads in this country, yet they had all the money to campaign to break the 8. What a joke. Agboja is telling us 100 billion Ghana cedi they left behind. When would that be paid? And when you read from Graphic Online, it says road minister designate warns of 15 billion debt crisis in infrastructure sector. And you see, these are the facts. Watch this. Agboja says we go for a loan, and when we are not able to pay as agreed, probably we're supposed to pay on the 10th. we couldn't pay on the 10th, the interest we pay is more than 100 times the loan we went for. And I don't want to go too much into the details. It's so nauseating. You sit back and you are like, what is this? Now, let me read this part, and I'm reading this from Graphic Online. It says, provided a detailed analysis of the challenges, Mr. Agboja noted that 113 billion Ghana cedis was allocated to road projects in 2018, alongside the additional 665 million Ghana cedis in interest payments. You go for a loan of 113 billion Ghana cedis. Listen, 113, and the interest on it alone is 665 million Ghana cedis. Interest. So he says he's going to call for reforms. He says he's going to make sure he deals with the finance minister. Look, in this country, we are so wasteful. And it's not funny. So wasteful. Extremely wasteful. So sad. I'm going to look at the last thing and I'm done. And I'm reading this from Ghana Web. You will be removed no matter what you do, Dan Parry told. And I read. Governance analyst and lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Benjamin Ochre Ankara, has expressed doubts about the future of the current Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu Parry. In an interview on Accra-based Peace FM, Dr. Ochre Ankara questioned the whereabouts and continued tenure of the IGP, who has been widely praised for his work. The IGP we have been praising, where is he? What will happen will happen. The work he has done is enough. It will be difficult for him to remain in office as the IGP. He further asserted that despite the IGP's commendable performance, it is inevitable that he would be replaced. That's the truth. No matter what, he will be changed. He himself knows it, unless he is not hearing or seeing what's going on. When Dan Parry took office, I was one of his biggest fans because of the kind of revolution he was bringing to the police sector and for the police service, I beg your pardon. Watch this. I was a little disappointed he didn't do something that I thought he would have done to rebrand Ghana police to that level. He brought some honor to the police, no two ways about that. I admire him, I love him. I expected that he would rebrand the Ghana police. You can do it. Why are you behaving like a lazy man? Be a revolutionary, be a radical. You cannot be celebrated when you behave like a worm. Come out of your cocoon shells. Come out and be a radical. That is how you would deserve a statue, not Nana Akufo-Addo's statue. What did I expect Dan Parry to do? Revolutionize the police service. How? Simple. And I gave myself in readiness to help him rebrand the police. I drive all the way from Accra to Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou to be specific. And police see me and they salute me. Oh, Blakk Rasta. They want to take photographs with me because it's Blakk Rasta. The next car that is coming, I see the same police stop and take money from the police, from the drivers. Everywhere you go, police people in Ghana have become beggars. Beggars. Oh, your boy is there for the road. Oh, Charlie, your boy is there here. We there on the road. Oh. We know you there on the road. That's why we are paying you using our tax. Any policeman who does that is a shameless policeman. My grandfather was a policeman. Yes, Chief Inspector of Police, Audu Kankani. He served in the days of the colonial era, right? In the days of the colonialists. He was an honorable policeman. And I remember as a little child, he told me I should be very, 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 very to the umpteenth time proud that I ever became a policeman, because it was an honorable service to mankind and to God. That was how they saw it. But today, policemen are a symbol of begging. Who respects Ghana police? And it hurts me that my grandfather would be shaking in his grave. They are on the streets begging. People are driving with broken lights. They allow them to drive on the streets. Sometimes you are almost hitting them and killing yourself. They endanger the lives of people on the streets. And they don't care. All they care about is money. They tell you, hey, Charlie, why who better retire now? No, sir. Bring honor to the police service. Pay them well. Give them good retirement benefits. Give them packages to travel abroad and be able to at least rest. They work so hard, yet the bad knots are always there. That Paris came in. He stood his grounds. He could have done better. I expect that any policeman who takes anything should be fired. We should find a way of putting cameras on these people. Radically, we should fire a lot of these policemen who are on the streets misbehaving. They are spoiling the name of the service. It's an honorable service. How many of our policemen in Ghana would like their own children to be police? How many? Be honest. Dan Paris can do better. I will be disappointed if it's changed. I will be disappointed if it's changed. But Dan Paris must also listen. Are you ready to change the image of the police? It's a shame that up till now, I haven't seen that radical thing. I want to see Ghana police stop begging on the streets. I want to see the lives of the policemen and women change. I go into Burkina Faso. I drive a Ghana car. No policeman stops me on the streets, because they know that they have strong men at the border who will make sure that you enter with papers. If this was a Burkinabe car in Ghana, every 2 centimeters a policeman would stop you. If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying. I drove the length and breadth of Ouagadougou. Not one policeman stopped me. Of course, they also have bad policemen. They also have bad policemen. But I think that we need to do the honorable thing. Change the image of Ghana police. The police that we have right now has no respect in the eyes of the public. And Dan Paris has failed to deal with this in his first tenure. If you ask me if I should give him another chance, I will say yes. No IGP in Ghana has been able to deal with this image of the police. Are you scared to sack them? Are you scared to do the radical thing to bring some kind of beautiful reform to the police and image? I leave it here. Man.